Good morning. You're listening to Kingston Community Radio, airing on FM 92.5 and AM 920 WGHQ, Kingston, New York. This programming is brought to you by our listeners and corporate underwriters who are interested in presenting local community radio. The opinions expressed on this program do not represent those of Pamel Broadcasting or Kingston Community Radio. Listeners are encouraged to send in $10 per month to help bring this program to you. Mail your contributions to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. For more information or to donate online, visit our website at mykcr.org. And good morning, this is Dan Gatis, and thank you for tuning in, sharing this terrific Tuesday with us, Tuesday, July 6th, and 70 degrees starting out today. And let's see what we got for the next few days here. Today, mixed clouds and sun this morning with a 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon possible. Possible severe storms with a high of 92 today. And tonight, partly cloudy skies, a 25% chance of a stray shower or a thunderstorm, a low of 66. Wednesday, partly cloudy early, scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, a high of 88. 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms on Wednesday. And Wednesday evening, 60% chance of scattered thunderstorms, a low of 55. Thursday, it jumps up to a 90% chance of thunderstorms in the morning and even more widespread in the afternoon, a high of 81 on
Starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In 05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in 09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hi, my name is George Post from Postupack, New York, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you. Where else can you speak to your local representatives on the air and have your questions answered? So thank you and support KCR.
Yep, we were off yesterday, but we're in action today, and it's a terrific Tuesday. And you're with us here with Nina Postupack and Cameron Rylance. You are listening to WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and our call-in number is 331-9255, and that's your number. So let's get to the on-air studio right now, and good morning, folks.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. It's a terrific Tuesday, right, Cameron?
It is. It's a little overcast, but that's nice. It's,
Yes.
it's going to get hot, so we can wait on the sun.
Yep, we'll take that. That's for sure.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be windy, so that's nice.
Heat advisory today, high of 92, which is, like last week.
Yeah, but
later in the
windy,
week.
That helps.
Yeah, possibly
That's
windy.
nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
It doesn't feel like that we've had a lot of sun. I love the sun. It's been warm, a little rainy, but though I have to say,
that must be Italian women like the sun.
Oh, I
my
love the
girlfriend
sun.
Amanda loves sitting in
she
the sun.
Italian? Yeah.
With a name like Metacchia.
Yeah, that would do it.
Nice Italian
that's nice. Yeah, a lot of vowels in that.
C's and an H in the middle.
A lot of vowels.
But happy Independence Day, everybody.
Yes.
The first radio show since our celebration of our nation's founding, I guess you could say.
Yes.
And I had a lovely celebration, a little family get-together. And
that was nice.
yeah, my buddy, my family, my parents, son, his girlfriend, my buddy Tom Murphy, his son. Tom brought a half a bushel of clams, too.
Oh, he did.
He told me he was going to, but...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was nice. So we only steamed a few. Everybody was eating raw clams all afternoon. It was nice.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Nice. The
and a couple folks. I don't want to use the word orphan because it sounds kind of Dickinsian,
Yes,
Dickens.
yes.
Two, Laura Wondra normally would be our camp director, and Justin Chin, who is he's been a counselor, he's been an administrator.
So two people you work with,
from
okay?
Camp, that had nowhere else to go. They're from
Oh, that was
out-of-towners.
nice.
So they came for the afternoon, and it was nice. Set up to go cornhole board in the backyard, and
Oh, great.
it was nice. It was relaxing.
That's good. That's good. So
Barbecue.
you did that on Sunday?
Yep, barbecued. Baked bean. I made baked beans from scratch. They were delish. I didn't just
I bet they were.
I bought canned, white beans, Great Northern beans, whatever. But I didn't soak them overnight, and because I've made them a few times like that, and the shells never get soft enough.
Oh.
But I don't have an Instapot. My sister has made them
I
with
have
an
the
Instapot.
Oh, really?
And she said they get perfect. Like you don't get that little husk left over. That you sometimes get,
so you have an Instant Pot. I never made
but
homemade
with the molasses, you can
beans.
adjust the flavor yourself. With the molasses and the brown sugar, and mustard. They were really good.
I bet they were delicious. I bet they were.
Potato
Yes.
salad and hamburgers, hot dogs.
Oh, so
My mom
true
made
4th
this
of July.
dessert. It was really good. I don't mean to.
No, but we'll
I
tell
I mean,
us.
it's time for breakfast, but my mouth is watering
My
right
mom made
now.
this
Okay.
dessert.
Me
It
too,
was-
Jan. We want an invite next time.
Exactly,
All right,
yeah.
you just get out more chairs. And it's BYOB, by the way.
Oh, that's even better.
That's
So,
no problem,
yeah, yeah.
So it was, for lack of a better description, grilled fruit shortcake, sort of.
Ooh, that's
It was like shortcake, pound cake, shortcake,
Yeah.
and then grilled on a really hot grill to leave burn marks. Watermelon, pineapple, bananas, and peach halves.
Did she do it in a grill pan?
No, just right on the grill. We after dinner, after
The grill?
after the the cheeseburgers and all that, got it really hot again, scraped it nice, and grilled the fruit, and then cut it up, because like wedges of pineapple, whole,
Sure, yeah.
diced it, whole banana peeled, and then with in a bowl, whatever, and she made a rum sauce, like rum and butter, like a rum sauce, whisked, drizzled it over, and then a little normally would have been hand whipped whipped cream, but enough's enough. Is so little Stewart's ready whips, the squirty stuff on top. It was so good. The grilled watermelon.
So you take a big enough piece that you can put it on the grill.
Yep.
For instance,
Like
a whole banana.
Whole banana, or like a big smile of watermelon. Like
yeah,
a wedge
exactly.
that you eat,
Okay, a half a slice
on a
of
hot grill.
Just
the peaches,
sear
the
it.
bananas. I've had hot bananas, sort of like bananas.
Yeah, so sear
But
it,
with the
huh?
grill, and then the pineapple. I've had maybe hot pineapple. I don't know, but
Sometimes you grill with the
upside down
chicken.
cake or something. It
grilled
was
fruit
really-
shortcake. Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the rum sauce.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
the rum sauce probably made it, yeah.
Yeah,
super
yeah.
simple.
A little whipped cream.
Yeah,
However you want to use
It was
that.
so good, but the grilling the fruit and the peaches. I think the peaches were the biggest surprise. No, actually the watermelon, because it was weird. It was.
Yeah, the watermelon. Yeah, you could see all the other fruits being grilled. Yeah, absolutely.
But it was good. So it was nice. Did you do anything exciting?
I marched in the parade in Saugerties.
Oh, how was the turnout?
Oh, phenomenal.
I can bet.
Absolutely amazing. The amount of
Saugerties was the
people.
place to be for July 4th.
Yes.
It was the place to be because they're the only people that had the fireworks.
Yeah, that's cool.
In our in our area, if you wanted to see fireworks, you'd go to from Kingston to Saugerties. Yeah.
They always had good ones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Probably
and
had
parade,
a crowd there at Cantine.
The
The
parade
whole
was
parade route
amazing.
was,
The parade route was packed with people, and it was so I've been marching that parade probably 16 years. First year that I could say it wasn't sweltering hot.
Wow, that's
Or
good.
pouring rain or something. So it was just perfect weather
Cool.
for a parade. It was still a little bit of a breeze, and it was perfect. And Neil Smoller from Village Apothecary was the Grand Marshal of the parade for
that's
everything
cool.
he's done
Yeah,
with,
sure.
with COVID and everything. So it was really a true community event. And plus, with the fact that they didn't have it last year and the first year back, and really, I think it's the first parade back in the community. I really do.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
Yes. Yeah, so it was a great day. And then I have family barbecue on Sunday. So,
Nice.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we have somebody in the studio,
You
right?
snuck right in.
Yes,
Our
she did.
regular guest on the first Monday of the first spot. The first spot of the first Monday of the month. Heidi
It's Tuesday of the
Kirschner.
month, but that's okay.
Monday. Did I say Monday?
Yeah, that's all right.
Seems
It's
like Monday.
where
But it is terrific
everyone's
Tuesday.
miscombobulated
Yeah.
with the
Terrific Tuesday.
holiday. Yes.
Heidi Kirschner, welcome.
Good morning.
Hi,
Welcome
Heidi.
back.
Yeah.
How are you? You're busy, a girl, a woman, person, I bet?
It's that time of year when everything's really busy.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, it's but it's all good.
Yeah. Now, your camps have started and your children, youth activities are full steam ahead?
Yeah, we have our camps have started, all 4 of them this year. We have added a new camp to our family.
Wow.
So
what's
tell
that?
us, what is that?
So we have Esopus, town of Esopus camp is now a Y camp in collaboration with the town.
Cool.
Yeah.
What was
And,
normally their rec, the Soap Town of Soap?
Yeah, yeah.
Partnered with you guys. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
It's actually a nice collaboration. You know, it was nice. We received some nice help from the Bruderhof as well to
Does
get
that
it up
have
and
a
swimming.
central location? Like
Yeah, it's at their park. What the heck is the name of it? Right across.
down by the beach.
Yes.
No, it's on the
Oh.
other side. It's across from the post office.
Oh, Ross Park.
Ross
oh,
Park,
Cool.
that's
yeah, they
it.
got the big pavilion there. Yeah, that's where Ben plays.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful
yeah, it's
there.
perfect because they got that huge field, tennis courts, baseball diamond.
They have it's really
jungle gym. Yeah, that's cool.
It's very, very nice, and I was surprised, and it's funny because everybody knows that park. They're like, "Oh yeah, we went to camp there when we were kids. Oh yeah, they had this game we played there when we were kids." So it's
They have a backstop too.
I don't. Yes, they do. On the other side, they do.
Now, what's the numbers like? How many kids do you got enrolled in that?
On that one, it's not. It's like 50.
Like 50.
That's good, though.
A lot of
That's
kids,
good.
First
Good
year.
for a town,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. In a town,
So-
Now, is there room for later in the summer if kids tell
Oh
all their
yeah,
friends?
absolutely. If they
kids
want to
tell all their
roll,
friends, and
absolutely.
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's not a problem.
And that's likewise with all your camps, right? If
Yeah.
there's always room for, come on down.
yeah, yeah.
Now I have to ask because staffing. Did you have a lot of trouble staffing this summer?
Well, we were good with the camps, but there's some other programs I'm working on that are proving to be more challenging. And so when you look at number, I mean, we have, well over 100 kids that we hire for the summer for our camps. And then when you
That's a
add some more
lot.
programs that are going to require another 20 or 30 and they're last minute, you're like, so staffing is a bit of an issue. So
Yeah, across the board it is.
It is,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Particularly for summer camps, traditionally.
it's funny because there's a lot of kids who just don't. I mean, I
There's
know
a
them; they don't want to work.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So,
It's amazing, but true. Absolutely true.
but it's going well. I mean, I'm really
Last
pleased
week
so
was the
far.
first week?
Yeah. So last week was the first week for most of our camps. The
That's
Sopus
the
started
school
this
end.
week.
Yeah.
Right.
Sopus had a week off between. Usually, our starfish camp starts this week, but for some reason, they started last week.
Desperation.
Are you
They're not
getting,
desperate.
yeah, right.
Parental input, please.
It's just what I was
please
going to
start
say. Are you
early.
getting a great turnout for the camp this year?
Oh,
based
gosh,
on,
yeah.
Yes, yeah, everything the
It's
kids have been
even
through.
exceeded 2019 levels.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you probably pick up some as the season goes on. So
yeah,
to
I
start
call that,
off,
I call that churn.
Yes,
My,
yes.
my facility was rented to Camp Ramapo, and they're doing a day camp for, Dutchess County, or whoever, local kids. Hugely popular.
Yeah.
They started it last year in response to their no overnight camp.
Yeah.
And they had all the staff. Oh no, what do we do with the staff? We can't lose it because they're year round.
Right, because if you lose that momentum,
And they did
it's hard.
it. Overwhelming popular demand. They had to redo it this
Yeah.
year. They were scrambling because they can't do both of those programs at their
Right.
facility. So sadly, my camp, normal camp, decided they couldn't function again this
right,
year.
it was an
So
unknown.
So they rented, yeah, when they had to decide it was unknown. So they rented our facility out, and there's a day camp there, and 4 buses roll in every morning. It's unbelievable how the demand.
Yeah. Well, you need it for the summer. Yeah, and kids like to do stuff that's different. And it's really important, for children to be outdoors. It's an element that's missing from a lot of kids' lives these days for a variety of reasons. And so for the mental health and for their actually development, it's important to have outdoor activities.
Yeah, absolutely. And your farm stand
Yes.
the farm program is boom. I see it all over the place. It's going to be involved with the big food co-op neighborhood Kingston.
Yes, which
Kingston
is
picnic, whatever they
fantastic.
call
Another
it.
great
Yeah.
collaboration, yes.
That's moving forward, will they be able to like sell produce through the co-op, or
I'm not sure if they will, because we're
little micro business, or if you will?
They might. We have 2 farm stands a week at our facility on Thursdays and actually Tuesdays. Tuesday mornings, like 10 to 12 typically, and then Thursdays. So with our little farm that's like, 3/4, a little over 3/4 of an acre, it all depends. It's hard to, pump it out. But I mean, we have really, really good youth who have grown up in the program. They start, I mean, now you figure we're at the farm's been operating probably for, I think, 5 or 6 years.
Oh, wow, that long already.
And so the youth who began getting involved probably, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, are now at that point where they're very mature. They've gone up through it. So we have a lot of very capable hands now that can do a lot with the farm, that can go out into the community. It's really quite nice when you see these young adults. Like, a lot of them are seniors or freshmen in college now.
Now, did any, or do you know, any of those kids have gotten, like with the Farm Hub, has programming for, teaching future farmers? Do you know if any of kids have going into agribusiness? Or?
It's very funny. Not as of yet, because most of them are still.
To me, that'd be really cool.
Most of them are still freshmen, but I mean, I know that's the message to many of them, because it's like, well, because our educator and our farmer are always like, well, one of you guys are going to replace me someday. You know what I mean? And that's the intent, is to stimulate that interest.
On a nationwide business level, I mean, farms are
oh yes, absolutely big business.
They don't want to get into it, and it's a huge opportunity. And
it's actually
no farms, no food. We've all seen that sticker.
It's actually a pretty cool. It's a brilliant career for sciences, and how do you produce and minimize the space and optimize your production. I mean, there's a lot of going on now with vertical production of farming.
Yeah.
And the urban
indoor
environment,
energy sectors, algae fuel production is going to be huge, I think.
So we only do. I mean, we're the very tip of the iceberg, but there is so much technology and science behind farming that really hasn't even been tapped into yet. And I think that's a lot what the hub is trying to do, is stimulate that interest and do a lot of that research.
And this area, Hudson Valley is, historically one of America's breadbaskets.
Yes,
since the Native Americans were farming the Hurley Flats, so.
It's pretty cool. It's nice, we try to get as much growing season as we can out of our little plot of land, We do have one greenhouse. I'd love, but my poor farmer, she's only one person, you know what I mean? And because I'd love to have like hoop houses along half of our farm where, when it's summer, they're open, but when it's the fall or early spring, they're closed in, and you can really, but that's a whole other dimension. That's a whole other dimension. And, but I do know and this was a while ago, but when I visited Frost Valley was trying a whole lot of different things with, their farming and techniques of farming. And it was pretty interesting to see what they were doing. And they were also doing, I think, a little bit of the fish tanks for the fishing aspect of it, but it was also feeding the farm. Planting of the farms and stuff. So it was pretty interesting.
You can waste, those tanks with, vegetation, fish.
Yeah.
You can use mussels, clams in the bottom. The water column vertical farming. It's can treat wastewater.
It's pretty really interesting stuff. And the idea is maybe you can spark that interest with somebody who really takes to it, and if they realize that it can be a career. And you go learn about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the rest of your program, the pool
is going great. Oh my gosh,
open swim.
Pool is going great. I mean, it's just been ever since we opened that pool. It's just I can't. I mean, if I had twice the size pool, it would be busy.
Wow,
that's fantastic.
But it's really good. I mean, the one thing that concerns me, and I want to really get going on this, get some traction, I think, after this summer when I have a moment to breathe. But I'm really quite concerned with the rate of drownings in this community. And, every spring after that first hot snap, it seems like we always have, we open the papers and we read about, a drowning or two.
8 deaths in the past week in the Hudson Valley from drowning.
So my mission
It is.
is to eradicate that, so I really need to get, everybody on board, and I will start that adventure, between the schools, I think, reaching out to the sheriff and saying, because they have the dive teams and everything, it's like, how do we reach the public and change this statistic, because it doesn't have to happen. Even if you teach like the basics of water safety, and I mean, I have enough people who have expressed that same concern, who are qualified to teach and to do water safety. I mean, I even went off and got my WSI these last couple of weeks because I said, I've got to change this.
There's even things you could do in a 2-hour seminar.
Oh, that's what I'm saying, that you teach.
Kick your shoes off.
Yeah.
If you find yourself,
Right.
there's like a higher, what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So there's just so many things that you can teach and educate and make
You want to pick up some hours at Calabar this weekend? Desperate. Wiltix needs lifeguards. 12 Skill needs lifeguards. Everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody needs
it's
lifeguards.
so funny because it's like I've got my lifeguard, I got my
I know your
WSI,
phone's been
right?
off the hook. It had to been. Xena, Hurley,
They're all
everybody's
looking
screaming for lifeguards. It's like a bidding war.
I can't. I don't even have the time to for like a Calabar or someone who's small. You want to do service. I don't even have the time to do the community service for them. And I would, but it's crazy. Yep. But that's a statistic that I was like, I want to rally the community around and say, how do we address this?
I'm sure you've already thought of this, but that those group of kids after Chris Bumba passed away. That group of kids, what they did,
they raised. I have a scholarship fund that we haven't been able to spend yet because we haven't gotten back to normal swim lessons that under Chris Bumba. And I mean, that's something that can give you leverage and then get you there. And
at least on a street level in Kingston,
right.
Those kids know how to reach.
And the sorry part is that it's unfortunately the kids who don't have access to swim lessons, and it's not a priority in their homes. No. And so that's the thing. It's like you really, really need to try and reach into those communities, and it's going to take a community effort.
It is.
Over
it is absolutely.
15 years of running a huge swimming pool at a residential international summer camp. Mm-hmm. Globally, people from urban areas generally don't give a crap, don't know how, and don't really care about swimming. Whether Asian, European, African, kids from urban settings, American are less familiar with swimming. It's with the kids from Wisconsin or New York or live out in the country of Spain. On the countryside, the North Scandinavians all know how to swim because most of them are within spitting distance of the shore otherwise. But it's a global phenomenon. I've seen that kids from cities are less.
So there's so there's tools out there. So we just, and you have to look, do I take it as a Ulster County initiative or do I try to do it as a Hudson Valley? But I was like, we have got to stop this. We cannot have our beautiful young people drown. And I would say 99% of it was preventable.
I would say definitely on a county level, between the beaches and Saugerties and the swimming holes down south, in the southern county. Yeah, that'd be great.
So that's one of the things. I just have to get this through the summer and breathe and start those initiatives.
That's a great initiative.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
So anything upcoming events or things you need to
we have our golf tournament that's coming up in September. That's the third Monday in September.
Now?
Absolutely. We actually
it sells out, so don't September's not very far away.
No, and what used to be in August, but we found that we last year we did it in September. Actually, what was it? Last year we had a frost delay. Remember that cold snap we had in September?
Yes.
So that was a frost delay. I said, I never thought I'd experience this for the Pro-Am. But, September is typically nicer weather, and there's not that madness. Like at the end of August, people are going on vacation or they're trying to get their kids back to school. And when we changed it to September, people liked it. We were concerned that we wouldn't get the pros because their season basically ends in August. But many of them who are familiar with the
Probably were freed
tournament
up.
liked having it if they could make it. And so, last year we booked, we filled up. So it was quite nice. And we were like, well, let's do it again this year. So.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Hey, Heidi, if we can go back to the camps for a minute.
Yeah.
Maybe those who are listening, you said you have the 4 camps, one being the
Oh,
tennis
yeah.
Opens, but
So-
maybe you could give an overview of the other 3, and if
Okay.
you're interested.
So, yeah, because we do have different styles of camps. I
Right.
mean, so the Town of Esopus is our new one, and that's primarily for Town of Esopus residents. But if you're not a resident, you can still go. You just pay a little bit more. We have our New Paltz camp. Again, that's New Paltz camp, but you can go if you're not a New Paltz resident. We have our Sea Wakamano camp, and that's your typical day camp in the woods. It's great. There's like 40 acres, and there's woods, and there's high ropes, and there's a little lake, and there's funky fun field, and there's all different kinds of activities that you can do, hiking. So that's your typical day camp in the woods. But then we also have Starfish, which is more kind of like an educational type program. We teach a lot of reading and writing and just more cognitive skills. But we also fill it up with some other activities. They actually go to the farm like once or twice a week. I'm very excited about this, but we have the Sunrays horses coming to our backfield this summer. So our Starfish camp and our Esopus camp, because Esopus is going to come to the Y once a week so they can get their swimming in, and then they can visit with the horses, and then we can give them they can go to the farm, and then there's a couple of other activities we can do for them at our facility that we couldn't do for them at the at Esopus. So they'll come. So we have that. The Starfish is it's indoors. It's funny because a lot of people come to that camp because they're like, the kids don't want to be outdoors all day.
Well, some kids
You
don't.
have an option, yes.
And what age group is the Starfish? That's a
Grade
little younger?
school. That's grade school.
Okay.
So like Seawalk and the others, they go up to like 13 or 14. But Starfish is purely grade school, and we're sold out right now.
Wow, great.
Yeah.
So now, if finances are an issue, are there still scholarships available?
There are still a
Heidi?
few scholarships. We've given out a tremendous amount of scholarships this year. It makes my heart
Yeah.
happy that we're able to do that. But they're still available should somebody need it. I would just say ask, because we get, stuff comes in throughout the summer. Still to help kids if they, need to go to camp. So the best thing to do is just ask, and we like getting kids in camp, and so if the money is there, we
Yeah,
definitely.
It's
you work
there
awful
for it,
hard.
right?
You work very hard to earn it. So
yeah.
it's nice. It's
Yeah.
nice
Yes.
to.
And I do.
credit for that,
Yeah, and
so.
I've had a couple people already call. They're like, we usually give. I forgot. Can I still send it in? I was like, absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
great. Yeah, and so if people are still interested in sending their children to camp or so forth, they call the Y or?
Yeah, you can call the Y, but probably the easiest thing to do is go onto our website. It's YMCAUlster.com. And then there's a day camp button there. You push that and it says register. And
Oh,
then
that's great.
you pick which camp you want to go to, and you can go through that whole registration process of, your kid, your likes, your dislikes, all the details you need to register for camp.
Pay online as well?
Yep.
Oh, easy.
That's
Yep.
really nice. Yeah,
Yep.
very convenient.
Yeah. It's good because it's
Now,
instantaneous.
Are those horses show horses, performers? Or,
No, it's more like they're
grooming and just.
nope. It's more like therapy type horses.
That's cool. So they can, just
Yeah,
pet and.
yeah. They can pet them, learn
at
about
those
horses,
ginormous eyes.
and look about them, and then maybe by the end of the summer, if the kids are comfortable, they'll be able to ride
Oh,
them.
they'll be there for a while.
Yeah, well, having them, they'll have program. It's
Oh,
actually
they're coming. Oh, they're
That's
not
great.
living there all week. They come in.
they come in daily.
Oh, okay, cool. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they'll come in. We're just seeing how it works.
Yeah,
If it's a good fit for the community, because it's not just there for the Y.
Well, the farm can certainly utilize the additional
The proceeds.
Yeah, right.
fertilizer.
Yeah. So yeah. Absolutely.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
great.
it's
what
kinda
an
cool.
opportunity. You know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yes, it really is.
It's, you know.
We'll see how, meshes. The one thing we're a little concerned about is how they're going to react to all those trains that go by all day long.
Oh, the horses.
Yeah. So we'll see if they can acclimate or not. That was one of the things we
You'll find out if everyone's allergic to horses. Yeah. We're getting the signal, but Heidi, thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Heidi.
Hard work and keep it up.
All right.
Good luck with the summer and the camps.
Thanks for sharing your time with us.
All right. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
Okay, Dan.
Okay, and thank you, Heidi Kirschner, and thank you, Nina Postupack and Cameron Rylance, for this terrific Tuesday. And you are listening to KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920, 92.5 FM. My name is Dan Gatis, and it is 7:30 a.m. and Tuesday, July 6th. 70 degrees now here in Uptown Kingston. And today it's mixed clouds and sun this morning, a 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, possible severe storms with a high of 92. And tonight, partly cloudy skies, a 25% chance of a stray shower or a thunderstorm, low of 66, and a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Wednesday, partly cloudy, scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, and a high of 88, 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon on Wednesday. Wednesday night, a 60% chance of scattered thunderstorms with a low of 55. And Thursday, that jumps up to a 90% chance of thunderstorms in the morning and even more widespread in the afternoon with a high of 81. We'll be right back.
Thanks for starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5.
What is us?
Us is a foundation.
Us is the future.
Us is a bond.
But right now, that bond is fraying.
And we need a place that could make it whole.
From diabetes prevention to safety around water.
The Y fills the gaps.
And bridges our divides.
But they can't do it without us.
Donate today.
Because where there's a Y, there's an us.
Read by members of the Y.
The Y, for a better us.
I'm Tino from 12220. In my community, a lot of families don't encourage higher education.
I'm Guy in zip code 40220. I like my neighborhood okay, but sometimes it's hard to make friends here.
The Y Achievers program opened my eyes to future possibilities and helped me prep for college.
At the Y camp, it's really a safe place. All of the people there are really accepting and nice.
At the Y, my zip code doesn't define my future.
I do.
Support your local Y at ymca.net/for a better us.
Hi, this is Dina Roy from Hurley, and I support the Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
You're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, 7:33 a.m., and it's 70 degrees here on this Tuesday, July 6th. And Kingston Community Radio is talk radio, so call in. Your number is 331-9255, and KCR can be followed worldwide at mykcr.org, and that is online. So let's get back to the on-air studio with Nina Postupack and Cameron Rylance, and welcome back.
Serenade.
And we are back.
We are, and it's already 7:30.
I know, chewing up the time. And Heidi, thank you again.
Yes.
Take care.
Yeah.
The Bill Merchant is due at 8, and then I don't know, Bill can talk about virtually anything.
Yes, and then at 8:30 we have Peter Roberts.
It's coming in.
And talk about the exhibit at Friends of Historic Kingston. The Jessica Sign exhibit. I'm excited about that. I can't wait to see it.
I remember seeing that sign, like Majeska sign on the bottom of signs and stuff. And I remember, I remember seeing the studio. I can't remember where the studio was, but we'll talk about that. But
some of those neon signs are still like indelibly in our minds. I can still see the Brit sign. I could see, there's so many of them. They could still remember Nico's. So it should be very interesting. Yeah.
How about Berardi? Is the new Berardi?
Oh yeah,
sign.
I love that.
Isn't that gorgeous?
That's a great sign.
And it's just right off the throughway too.
And the building looks a lot nicer than it has in a long time.
Of course, absolutely does.
Yeah. Well, there's a neon shop in Kingston on wherever the welding place was. The Welch, you know where that little
Welch Industries were?
What the heck? Light Bright Studios or something. You know that?
Yes.
The rail trail ends at the one that goes from the plaza.
Oh yeah.
What road is that?
Oh God, O'Neill.
O'Neill Street. There's a whatever is a studio.
Yes.
Like,
Okay. Good. And Greg said that his sign he can keep it on 24/7, and it's very efficient. The new neons are extraordinarily efficient.
I was just going to say maybe it's not real neon. Maybe it's like some.
Well, if it is or isn't, but it doesn't take as much to energize, and it's like 20% of what it used to be.
That's because those old neon light, had a big transformer, super high voltage.
Yes.
I got shocked a couple times.
Yeah, so that should be interesting. At 8:30, we'll hear a lot about that in the exhibit that's opening at the Fred Johnson Museum. So, and Bill Merchant, I think, was on Solaris, which is the boat that the Hudson Maritime Museum gives tours on, and I think he spoke just this past weekend. So maybe we can hear a little bit about that and his experiences. And of course, we know that's a boat that was built at the museum, and it's completely run by solar, which is very interesting. I'm looking forward to going out on it this summer. So we're looking forward to.
So I just remembered.
Yes.
It's the second Tuesday. The Elks Dinner. Paula Strang called last week. So Paula, if you're listening, and any other interested listeners, next Monday and on the 12th is the monthly Elks $10 per person drive-through dinner, and the menu is grilled kebabs. I'm doing like a speedy marinade, like the speedies from Binghamton.
Now we're doing beef or chicken kebabs.
Chicken
kebabs.
With saffron rice and broccoli, and I'm not sure what dessert is because I'm not sure. I just don't know what dessert is yet. But
that sounds good.
Yeah, the 12th. So
Tell us about the marinade, though. Quick.
I will, but let me get out the number.
Okay.
So the number is 428-9850. Call, leave a message. Just leave a message. We don't need to return your call. We'll get it. And it's drive-through. You don't have to leave your car. You pull into the Elks Lodge. You give your name. You drive around. You get a ticket. You get your, they hand you the food. You open the door, put it in your trunk, put it in your back seat, whatever you want. You can drive away.
There you go.
No
cook Monday.
So, yes.
On Monday.
There you go. No cook. So that number, again, I haven't given it yet, actually. Oh, my gosh. This is oh, my goodness.
Oh, gosh.
Technology. It would be 428-9850 for the Elks Drive-Thru Dinner next Monday. So the marinade is sort of like the Greek flavor palette with like mint and oregano, but oil, of course. Well, oil, vinegar, lemon juice, oregano, mint, dried mint, a lot of mint.
Sounds
actually.
Very good.
You got to make like a gallon of marinade because
you have quite a bit. Yes.
Kebab. You're making 100 kebabs, whatever. So. Salt. I like a salty marinade because, well, it's only going to go overnight. I mean, speedy is like, some people marinate it for like 3 days, like with lamb and venison.
Right.
Some of the quote unquote traditional speedies. I'm not sure exactly. It's Greek.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. From the Binghamton area. That's it's a way of life out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So you will take a big gallon container, make the marinade, and then
like a big like a food service tub.
Okay.
Actually, get together Sunday afternoon. Hopefully get a couple of volunteers. I got to put out an email. Get a couple of volunteers. We'll, butcher up the chicken and put it in the marinade. Because it's a pain in the neck to cut.
Yes.
40 pounds of chicken breast into kebab-sized pieces of chicken. So
That's a lot of work.
yeah, get it in the marinade, and then Monday afternoon we'll skewer it up, grill it, make the rice.
Do you have a huge grill at the Elks
Yeah, we
Club?
have one of those like party grills. It's like 4 feet wide.
Yep, perfect.
Works good.
Yeah, perfect.
And they cook quickly, because it's small. It's not like a big, huge chunk. There's no bone, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you'll cook those as you go along, and then...
No, we'll probably
we
start cooking those at like 4:15, 4:30, and start packaging it, because people are there. It says 5 to 7, but virtually 99% of them are
People
gone
come
by
right at 5,
5:30.
right,
So,
yeah.
which is fine, cool, good, but,
Yeah,
clean
quick,
up.
fast, yes.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
this stuff's not sitting around,
Right.
By the time I'm taking the last ones off the grill, those people are already like on their way driving to the lodge. So
That's good.
pretty quick.
Yeah, so you have it all timed now, and
That's
pretty it's very
that's
efficient.
a quick cooking time. You not have to hold anything. You do the rice, in the big pans. The saffron for the saffron rice is gonna be the most expensive part of the meal.
Yeah,
right. Whatever, $20.
Saffron's not cheap.
Yeah, $20 worth of saffron, for just the rice. So
Yeah, cooking that rice
but
too.
it
you
tastes
have to have
good.
the
I mean,
big
there's nothing
pots.
like real saffron. This isn't Vigo, yellow rice. This is real saffron.
Saffron rice.
There's no red dye number 3 in there. It's all Spanish
the
saffron.
real deal.
Yes.
All right, so that's next Monday.
That's this coming Monday the 12th. Yep.
So make your reservations.
Yep.
So I saw, I know Dr. Roberts, I think it's the third Tuesday of the month that he's on, with the community college, but I saw Darlene Pfeiffer made a
Yes.
very generous donation of $1 million.
On top of her many years of generous.
Yes, to the Presidential Scholarship Fund, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
What a great she's a great community especially for the college supporter, and $1 million donation.
That certainly will create an endowment that will
live on for
yes,
years
this
to
thing,
come.
this thing now has wheels forever. Hopefully. So it's such a great premise, and the whole idea of premise is under it. The whole idea of the program, getting kids in 8th grade, mentoring them through high school, and I don't want to say fast tracking, but easing their way into higher education to help themselves and their families, and what a great,
absolutely
incredible program.
The more you know about higher education as you're going through school, the more equipped you are.
Yeah, and
it's extraordinarily inspiring to know, this is where I can go. This is what I can do. This is the college that I can go to. This is the program that I can enter into. This is what it's about. Yeah. We didn't have that, and in many ways, that's a very progressive concept to be able to understand and know and have a path into your future. And lots of kids probably will really embrace that.
Absolutely. And what's good is the community college has so many different fields. From traditional engineering, legal things, business, whatever. Through their initiatives and partnerships, there's vocational work, trades work.
And look at even the Green Academy.
Environmental work, the
yes.
Green Academy. That's So it's not just like 4-year college degree. It's HVAC work. It's
very specialized. A lot of it is very.
So many. They're not just steering kids to a 4-year degree,
right?
Which is great, but it's not for everybody.
Exactly.
And the way the world is changing with technology and AI, a lot of jobs aren't going to be here. A lot of jobs that exist now aren't going to really be things anymore moving into the future. And jobs we never even thought of now are going to be lucrative in the future. So it's so dynamic.
Yeah, it's ever changing right now. Yes,
incredibly
yes.
so.
Yeah. And that's why the community college is changing with it.
Yeah.
And right up to.
Think of, engineering. Let's build a bridge. Well, it used to take literally an office building full of people with slide rulers and graphs and charts and books and tables of standards. Now, literally, you can do it on, a laptop. CAD. You can do the CAD drawing. You can design a battleship.
What does CAD stand for? Huh?
What's that?
What does CAD stand for?
Computer-aided
Cam?
design. Yeah.
Yeah, computer-aided design.
But yeah, literally the most complicated machines ever invented can be just done, in your living room on a nice computer. It's insane what
it is. It is
the power of those computers are. Stock market. The open trader. The trading floor. How many generations of people, were traders on the floor of the exchange, all that. But that's going. That doesn't happen. It's not like that anymore. Now computers, people sitting on their desks all over the world.
Robin Hood.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is.
It's
the workforce has changed tremendously. Yes, and I think
cool time to be alive when you think about it. Even for us old folks.
Yes.
The rate of change. I mean, how everyone, people of all walks of life have adopted technology. I mean, my parents, my dad is on his phone as much as a teenager sometimes. And
my mom uses her iPad for her recipes and everything else.
And how quick that was.
Well, and you could take like a small slice of your life and see the transformation too. When I walked into the county clerk's office 40 years ago, we had the ink cartridge pens. They're the permanent ink cartridge pens, and that's what we would write into those big index books, and that's how we would index all the judgments, the liens, the deeds, the mortgages, and it had to be permanent ink. So you can imagine what your fingers look like at the end of the day, and how many times you change those cartridges.
If you're a lefty, you got smeared all over.
Right, and we were so excited when we actually had they bought us typewriters that had the corrected tape right on the typewriter, and now you didn't have to use that little tape. Oh, yes.
I remember like when Rylance being a kid, Rylance Printing got the brand new IBM Selectric. It was like $6,000. It was like
they were.
I was like, what? Yeah. And that was 1974
IBM Selectric.
That was a lot of
money. It was.
But do you remember that correct? Yeah, you have to
you have to put that little corrected tape in there.
Correct tape down and hit the same letter and get it off.
Last summer, I was. It must have been 2 summers ago. So there was people in my office. I had to get my way of thinking, the tax exempt certificate. I was going to a store and I needed one. I had one that was filled out already. Yeah. I was like, dang. I was like, does anybody have any whiteout? This younger girl, Eliam, she's Spanish, like brilliant girl. She's like, what's whiteout? I'm like,
oh my gosh! Now I really feel old.
I grew up
it's a blizzard, right? It's a blizzard.
Like, cutting and pasting and fudging your driver's license when you're a kid. I mean, come on, that's like an art.
Still handy. It's still handy.
Yeah, but it's
if you're handwriting something, whiteout sometimes is handy.
Yep.
Yep. And the carbon paper, and if you made a mistake typing with the carbon paper, then you had to start all over again.
Copies, yeah.
So anyway,
you keep moving the carbon paper.
And Mimeo.
Yeah.
Mimeograph.
Yeah. The blue.
That blue.
The credit card. When they first credit cards.
Yeah. Swipe them across. So anyway, we look at what the office is today. Everything's imaged and digitized.
Hey, wait a minute. Credit cards.
Online.
You used to have to do a
imprint.
An imprint.
Yes, of the card.
Right.
Yes, you should pull
the card
pull it back and forth.
Yeah, if the card slipped or you put it on wrong and you dented somebody's credit card, they're like, "Whoa, you ruined my card."
Oh my gosh! And I remember we used to have the big Burroughs bookkeeping machine. So every time somebody came in to record a deed or a mortgage, it was this huge machine, and these sheets that would come off the machine, and we called that our tickler, and people could search what was recorded for that day. Absolutely, and then you would print out at the end of the day a sheet that would show you the tabulations, almost like the Board of Elections when we used to use the other the flip.
Real. Oh man, I wish those are still around. Just because the mechanics.
Pull those levers, yes, and then at the end of the night you would pull those sheets out and have all the tabulations on the sheets. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know how we got on that subject, but we were talking about how it's an exciting time to live right now, and the changes that we've seen in our lifetime. Tremendous, and I'm sure our parents can say the same thing, and someday our children will too.
Like the other day, I was listening to Mario and Hugh, and talking about COVID and the vaccines. Like they were like, when we were kids, polio was a thing. Like every year, you'd come back to school in September, and 3 of your classmates from last year weren't there.
That's hard for us to believe, right?
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too.
Goodness, it's like
absolutely.
It
was a godsend to our parents that the polio vaccine existed.
Yeah, yeah.
And the mark on our shoulder is still there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, and it was a godsend because that must have been a huge fear for our parents.
Yeah, no anti-vaxxers or old people that are anti-vaxxers aren't old enough to remember that.
Exactly.
Anyone that's old enough to remember would never even think about being not a vaxxer or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
It saves, and malaria too. Malaria still to this day kills 1 million people a year. Now it's only 1 million. 50, 100,000 years ago it was 10 million a year.
Yes.
It was crazy, but it's every year. It's like malaria, mosquito. It's the dengue fever. I mean, globally, you look at some of the things that are still out there that
I would highly recommend anybody who wanted to know about diseases over the course of the decades to pick up Dr. Froude's book, Plagued. It is unbelievably incisive and very, very concise
That's
about
cool.
everything from malaria to COVID. It's
Crazy.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the first time that whatever viruses have swept through. So anyhow,
Unfortunately,
it's
it would be
terrific
the last.
Tuesday. Let's not talk
That's
about
right.
that
Let's
anymore.
talk about terrific things. And I'm trying to think what's coming up this
I meant
week.
to tell you last week, but I forgot.
What's
On
that?
Father's Day, my father got a phone call. Frantic young man on the phone. Oh my God, Poppy. My 10th grade, 16-year-old nephew got a hole-in-one on Father's Day.
Oh, beautiful.
On 8 at
Oh,
Whitwick.
that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. And for
totally excited.
young,
Yeah.
to get that hole in one.
He's quite, he's just started golfing a year or two ago, and I mean, he was number 2 on the golf team this year in 10th grade.
Good for it. So he loves it.
Yeah, he loves
Enjoys
it.
it.
He literally plays 36 holes a day, every day. Since they let him walk on the grass this spring, he's played every single day. Loves
That's
it.
wonderful. It's
Totally
great when
Totally
they
bitten.
find a sport or some activity that they really enjoy, and that's fantastic. That's great. And a
Yeah,
hole in one
super
is pretty
fun.
exciting.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I was like, Vlad, it's all downhill from here, buddy.
Yeah, right.
Hang up your
So,
spikes now.
what's his name? We're going to get to know his name.
There you go. Maybe, perhaps.
Right?
At least
No.
at least at the high school golf team,
Yeah.
Vlad Olensky. Keep your eye out for
What's
that.
his name?
Vladimir Olensky.
Vladimir Alinsky.
Yes.
We're going to remember that name. He's going to get good.
Yeah,
He's got the
he is
passion.
pretty good.
Yeah.
But so it's it's a pretty cool accomplishment. People play their whole lives.
And never get a
Never
hole
get
one.
close,
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's an amazing experience.
Yeah. My dad had a relative, cousin or something, who's older, quite older, retired in the 50s to Florida and played literally golf every single day. And by the time he was an old man, he had gotten 6 holes in ones. Not that he was a particularly good golfer, but if the odds are 1 in 10,000, he's played 1 million. Actually, he was long overdue. He should have had 20 holes in ones just by the sheer numbers of it.
Oh, wow.
But, some people go 1 in 100, some people go 1 in a billion,
Yes.
odds,
There's
it's
no
average,
rhyme or reason. That's for sure.
You do
That's
anything
for
long
sure.
enough, you're going to
Yep.
luck out. What was it? A friend of mine says eventually even a blind squirrel can find a nut.
Oh, there you go.
Keep looking around long enough.
If you're out there enough, you're going to
Yes,
get
exactly.
one.
Right?
Well, that's the whole thing,
That's
right?
funny.
10,000 hours, right? Wasn't that Tiger Woods? If you do anything for 10,000 hours,
Oh.
you'll be complete master of your craft.
That-
or
okay.
Musician, golfer.
Okay.
Yeah.
1,000 hours, yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
could be.
fun doing
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
We
So
do
I
that,
have some
though.
exciting news this week. The motor vehicle bus is going back on the road. On Thursday, we will be in New Paltz. And then starting on Friday up in Shandaken. And starting on Monday, we'll be back to our regular schedule.
Cool.
So I know for a lot of
Where-
people out in the community, they've been really waiting for the bus to come back. So I say thank you for your patience and understanding. And we just wanted to make sure everybody was safe. And
Where can
it was
people
time to...
find the hours and the schedule? Where can they find that?
On our website. So you can go to the Ulster County Clerk website, and we have all our schedules there. You can call the office, our Facebook page, Ulster County Clerk, and it's Mondays we're in Marlborough, Tuesdays we're in Saugerties, Wednesdays Ellenville, Thursdays New Paltz, and then first Fridays of the month we're up in Shandaken, and the rest of the month we're down in Wapkill, and we're 10 to 1 and 2 to 3:30. So, and it's walk up, so no appointments necessary with the bus. We're still appointment only at the office, but at the bus, but we've expanded everything that you can do in the office. So now you can do renewals, plate surrenders, you can make appointment for almost anything and everything.
They do pictures, you can do licenses?
On the bus?
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can do the only thing we cannot do is an enhanced driver's license. We can do a real ID, a standard ID, and you can do all your permits, and no commercial driver's license testing on the bus.
Man, I've said my son is going to go into utility lineman school in January.
Right.
And I don't know where he got it, but he came home the other day with the New York State commercial driver's license manual. Holy
thick,
cow!
right?
It's like the Ulster Dutchess County phone book from back in the day. It's thick.
It is.
I was thumbing through it. I was like, oh my god, there's like stuff. I've been driving my whole life. I've driven across country several times, but like just driving thing you never thought about, like with trucks and stuff, like. Reading, the gearing, and it was like, oh my god, this is like complicated.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And then the air brakes and you get the CDLA, B. Yeah. There's a lot to it. So, good for him. So he'll be taking his CDL permit testing soon.
Yeah, he is. In a year from now, whatever.
Right.
Or whatever. Yeah, a year from now, probably.
And there's medical requirements and. Yeah, it's quite involved.
Tolerance for drugs and alcohol.
Yes. You have to be fingerprinted if you're doing the hazmat. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're hurling down the road in a 50-ton device. It's dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely.
Life and limb is at jeopardy, and if you're hauling something toxic or whatever, boom. Speaking of boom, did you see that sad little story? That NHL the goalie for the tennis.
Oh my gosh, that was horrible.
Sitting there in a lawn chair up in Wisconsin and got hit, like a firework fell over, like one of the big boys, hit him in the chest and killed him, stopped his heart. Crazy.
Horrible. Yeah. That was a horrible story. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, terrible. Now, I don't know, have we heard about the hurricane or the tropical storm that just went through Cuba? Is it headed for Florida, I believe?
I don't know.
I think it is headed for Florida, the last I heard this morning.
That stinks for them.
Quickly heard in the news. But I think it's downgraded to tropical storm, so thank goodness.
A good buddy of mine from college lived in Vermont for 30 years, retired, and moved down to Florida, and all like winter long, gloating.
Oh yeah, how beautiful it is!
And he lives on some island, near Tampa, like Barrier Island, whatever, in the community, lovely community, beautiful beach and everything. But gloating, and then wait till the hurricane comes or whatever. Hope you get sunburned. People commenting, different fraternity brothers and everything. It's like, yeesh. When you wake up and the evacuation sirens are wailing because Hurricane Josephine is
coming through,
bearing down on your little slice of tropical paradise.
Yes.
That beautiful backyard in Vermont will look pretty nice again.
That's right. Yeah, and this is the start of hurricane season, which goes right through the end of October.
Yeah, September through October. Yeah.
So.
The hurricanes are part of the ecosystem down there.
Yeah.
You have to really understand that
sadly,
that's part of it. It's part of the ecosystem.
Due to climate change.
They are increasing.
They are, severity, intensity, duration. The season's longer. So, oh my goodness. How about that heat in
Oregon?
Like, it's never even been that hot in Kingston. Gosh. And, Kingston,
we get
Oregon. Yes. That's the Pacific Ocean. It's cold up there.
Oh.
That's crazy.
And they say, maybe like 60% of households don't even have air conditioning because it never gets that warm.
It gets hot for a couple days and never that hot. Yeah,
they attribute like over 100 deaths to the heat, which is so sad.
Yeah. Crazy.
And it's still, I believe still in the triple digits.
But you never expect that.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Yeah, it's good. It's really strange, the weather patterns this summer throughout the country. It really is, and very odd weather patterns and
article
temperatures.
In Sunday's paper, about climate change. But I guess one of the things they found in the Northeast, the night times are staying warm.
I saw that.
I was like,
yes.
Great.
Night times. I thought that was strange. The night times are warmer. Yes.
That's when you need it to cool off,
Right. That's when you want it usually, yes, to cool down. But that was an interesting statistic. I thought about that. Why your nights would be warmer.
I don't know. More
Yeah.
heat, more urban growth, the concrete and roads and parking lots holds the heat more, less trees. I don't know. Probably all those factors put together. Less
Yes.
rain. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with you. It probably is a whole, that really make it.
And then the heat of cars and exhaust, like you've been in New York City, like just like standing there and like a bus goes by and a blast of heat, or the subway,
the subway, you even walk past
coming
the
out of the
entrances
subway
to the
vents
subway.
and everything, and the cities are way hotter.
Yeah, no, you definitely feel it there, for sure. All right, well, Dan, I guess we could take it to break.
And we'll be back. Oh,
and
maybe
hopefully
we have some birthdays.
Birthdays and Bill Merchant.
Yeah, so
Right.
take it away.
Thank you, Nina Postupack and Cameron Rylance. And you are with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, WGHQ, AM 920 and 92.5 FM. It's now 8 o'clock a.m., and it's Tuesday, July 6th. And this last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, 1099 Morton Boulevard in Kingston, their main office. And today's weather and forecast for Kingston and the surrounding areas. Today, mixed clouds and sun this morning with a 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, possible severe storms also with a high of 92. And tonight, partly cloudy skies, a 25% chance of a stray shower or thunderstorm overnight, a low of 66. And Wednesday, partly cloudy early, scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon, a high of 88 Wednesday, 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms. Wednesday night, a 60% chance of scattered thunderstorms with a low of 55. And Thursday, well, we're not going to avoid it. 90% chance of thunderstorms in the morning and even more widespread in the afternoon. 90% chance of thunderstorms on Thursday. A high of 81. We'll be right back.
Thanks for starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Swimming pools are great for family fun, and Central Hudson wants you to play it safe. Never operate an electric appliance next to or in the pool. Be sure pool motors and filters are grounded. Have them installed by a professional and serviced by a licensed professional electrician. Be very careful if there are electric lines above or near a pool, especially if using long-handled cleaning tools. And if a storm is nearby, get out of the water. Your safety matters.
Hi, this is Dina Roy from Hurley, and I support the Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This segment of KCR is brought to you by the Kingston Lions Club, serving the Kingston, Ulster County area since 1941. Call 845-901-9067, 901-9067 for more information. A local chapter that connects you to a global force for good. You're listening to WGHQ AM 920 and 92.5 FM, the home of Kingston Community Radio. My name is Dan Gatis, and it is 73 degrees now here on Tuesday, July 6th. Our call-in number, your number to call us, is 331-9255. And let's get back to the on-air studio with Nina and Cam and our new guest. Welcome back.
All right.
Thank
Our
you,
new
Dan.
guest, we're going to press him right into service. Bill Merchant, good morning.
Good morning.
Because he's going to help us read birthdays. We got a bunch of birthdays.
We do.
So we have the honor of giving out 2 today. So let me read Mondays first. So, Monday, July 5th, we want to wish a very happy birthday to Oh, did I hearing things? A very happy birthday to Patty Cohen from your friends at People's Place. And, Patty? Congratulations. You are the winner of the cow pie. So, today, July 6th, we have a whole bunch, and here's where we're putting Bill to work. So, we have so many that we have to go around the room. So, let me start off with happy birthday to Karen Van Nordstrom from your friends at People's Place.
And happy birthday to Todd Cruz from the Cruz family.
And happy 13th birthday to Tegan Housley from her mom. So happy birthday.
All right, and then I have one more. Let's not forget. And happy birthday to Mary Netter, also from all your friends at the People's Place. So let's put them into the randomizer, come up with a winner, and congratulations and happy birthday, Tegan Housley. You are the winner of a complimentary cow pie from Boyce Brothers Dairy Milk House, 62 O'Neill Street. Go claim your prize, buy some other ice cream for the rest of your friends and family, and sour cream. It's delicious stuff.
And you had a special birthday in your family this week, right?
My mom's birthday was yesterday, 88 years.
Well,
happy
still going
birthday.
strong.
What's your mom's
For her
name?
89th, put her name in for a cow pie.
For a cow pie.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
You
a
can
long
bring it.
trip. Dad's not driving these days.
Yeah, you
so
can
they're-
bring it up.
That
You
hour
put it
and
in
a
the
half.
cooler.
Yeah, then dry ice it and run it.
Just a cooler.
Yeah, right.
You got to soften them up.
You
Well,
do
that's
have
true.
to
They're-
soften
it's
them up.
nice, yeah.
It
Yeah.
might be
Nice to get
perfect by the time you get up there.
Hour and a half. It'll be
There you
a
go.
puddle in the back of the
No, put it in the cooler. So, Bill Merchant, good morning. So,
Good morning.
Why don't you ask Bill what you just asked him?
Ooh, okay. Let me ask you again, Bill. So you were out on the Solaris this past weekend, which is associated with the Hudson, with the Maritime Museum.
The Solaris was built at the Maritime Museum in their excellent boat school. It's the very first solar-powered boat to be commercially licensed by the Coast Guard. So that there's
That's
a couple
cool.
of others out, but they're in private hands. It's a wonderful boat.
Is it very quiet?
It's
What's the
incredibly
size of it?
quiet.
Yes.
It's I should have those specs memorized
It's
too,
like
shouldn't I,
30 feet
Cameron?
long. It's
Something like that. I don't know if it's quite
It
30.
holds-
Well, we're a dozen or thereabouts at the moment. But I think it might be able to hold. I got to say, we had 13 plus the excellent Jack Weeks, Captain Jack, also the president of the Maritime Museum.
Right.
Dale, his trusty first mate, and then myself as the historian, and Yacker on the yacht. I keep trying to get him to
15
use that.
people.
So it was 15 people on it, and we
And there's
plenty.
room?
Oh yeah,
Plenty of-
comfortable.
oh,
Absolutely quiet. Runs on solar power. In fact, most of the time on a sunny day, it doesn't draw on the batteries at all. But the captain once
That
came
is.
from Peekskill at night and only used half the charge in the dark. So that's how
wow.
efficient it is.
Yes.
No, it's a great little boat. It's an awful lot of fun. You can do bird watching tours. They've got runs to the lighthouse. They've got a gentleman
Sunset.
whose name is, there's a sunset. See,
Yes.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
Indigenous history. I forget the historian. And then just about every other Sunday at 1 o'clock, a conversation with me, trying to get people to talk to me. You're going to get a lecture with me anyways, but I thought we'd leave a little room and have a conversation.
Yes.
No, I really like
So
when
you go
I
up the creek. You're not so much as worried about the river, because normally everyone that boats around here, everybody
out
goes
on
to
the
the
river.
river, the river,
Yeah.
the river. The history and the cool stuff along the creek. I
Yes,
think.
that's very true.
There's just tons to talk about. We go all the way to Lock 1 and the site of the Waylock for the D&H
So
Canal.
right up to the bottom of the falls, under the bridge.
Yeah, but in fact,
right?
we turn around. You can see there was more water going over the falls after that rain last week
bet.
than
Yes.
any of us had seen in a little while there. And then we circle back, and there's all sorts of stuff to talk about: the bluestone industry, cement, ice houses, as well as just the history of the D&H Canal.
Yeah.
And how long is the boat ride?
Hour and 15 minutes.
Perfect. Yeah, that's just right.
And I've done 3 already, so I think there's 8 more on the schedule, basically just about every other Sunday.
And are all of your lectures the same, Bill?
No,
everyone. So
no,
it's different subjects each time.
Well, it's even looser than that. I'm really trying to sort of foster this sort of participant-driven. So far, it hasn't.
I just start asking you questions before we left the dock.
Yeah, see, no, that's what I want.
Get Cameron out there.
It's
serious.
It's funny. My first 2 tours, we only had 4 people. Where they're just getting this thing started, and they lost the season last year, and they weren't local people, so they didn't know that much. So it was a more general history. Yeah. But this time, I actually probably 5 of the people were there because of me, so who knew me, but even the people that I just met had questions about the history, and so it was a very engaged group, and I try and actually stop and let you enjoy your voyage a little for 5 minutes somewhere in there as well.
Absolutely.
It really is an awful lot of fun. Even in the high heat, it's wonderful because you're under the canopy
and you're moving.
in the
There's
shade.
Constant breeze.
Well, and you've got that wonderful Roundout Creek breeze. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the questions and answers, it flows. So it takes a different direction every time, which is nice.
Yeah, well, I even spoke to Captain Sam Merritt, who's in charge of the whole thing, about he loved the fact that I wasn't going to do the same lecture every time, and I even thought about trying to actually announce a topic. But what really happens there is because it's a little bit of a touristy thing, very often they're not booked out until that day, and so you just never know who you're going to get.
Right.
And as it winds up, there are just certain things that you're going to talk about. There's the remains of America's earliest Portland cement factory.
That chimney?
That chimney is, yeah. And it was later bought by a stone company who, according to an oral history from the early 20th century, all the final workers, when it closed down, never got their paychecks. A sad and common story, no doubt. Yeah. I was fortunate enough to find in our.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have closed down.
Well, they'd still be maybe operating now,
But behind that ridge is like the humongous quarry that's back there. It's unbelievable.
And that was probably a cement quarry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what most of the. So there's lots of cement works along there.
And then what Feeney's doing across there in that old landing, they took out that bulkhead. It's now so they can launch the boats easier.
Well, they pull up. They roll up as according to Captain Jack. They use these inflatable round sort of I don't know, just like hot dog shaped things, and they actually pull up these giant barges up onto the surface with them, roll them up, and then they put them up on stands. There was one sitting there,
Well, they're building
amazing to see.
They're building them, they're repairing them, they're
right there.
Yeah, it's really cool to see them launch it.
It hasn't been that much like industry on the Ronda shipbuilding. I mean,
the Roundout has been a busy harbor since 1652.
Come
on, I'll tell you.
It's amazing. And when you think that it's 85 miles from the Atlantic Ocean, to me that's a cool fact.
It was, I think, the busiest harbor between New York and I'm going to get this wrong now. Between New York and Albany.
Tonnage.
Throughout the historic period.
There's a little bit of skewed statistic because what they're shipping is inherently heavy.
Well, well, that's true. But I also just think just activity wise. But once the D&H opens up, Rondout was just 2 little farms in 1825. 1827, there's traffic already on the canal in New York State. So there's already activity, but it really builds up to the town of Rondout is larger than Kingston proper in 1872 when they get, for political reasons and stuff.
Right.
Population-wise, yeah.
Absolutely.
But it was more than half immigrants.
Yeah.
It was largely Irish and German immigrants, and largely people that were employed along the canal and all the other extractive industries. You've got the cement and bluestone. There were the so-called native peoples, which being part Native American, the native peoples, I'm air quotes, the Europeans that supplanted the indigenous people, even in that era, did not want to do these jobs. There were low-wage jobs. Immigrants filled them happily, and because they worked for less money than to this day. This story keeps going on, and they're nothing but a net positive.
That's repeated every generation.
And yet we denigrate them for no good reason. There's no basis for it, but it's been ongoing for as long as there's, the Irish were vilified. They were just
no
a
Irish
step
need
above.
apply,
Exactly. They were Catholic, which was a horrible thing apparently.
That one line in Mel Brooks, Blazing Saddle. I can't repeat it, but no Irish need apply,
Well, yeah, no, they were really, and in fact, you'll find down south, enslavers actually would hire the Irish for jobs that had a high mortality rate because people cost them $800 to $1,000. This is horrible. $800 to $1,000. They didn't want to lose money, so they'd hire the Irish instead.
$quarter a day or whatever.
Yeah, right.
And Frederick Law Olmsted, known for landscape architecture, but he was originally a New York Times reporter, and he did a series of trips down south in the 1850s studying slavery. And basically, he comes to the conclusion that, which we all know, that it was wrong. But not only that, economically, not surprisingly, when you enslave people, there's no incentive to work. And so, in fact, hired labor like the Irish was more efficacious, according to him. But he was deep down inside, as I understand it, was an abolitionist. And so these books were also at a time when, when things are coming to a head here. We're in the decade before the Civil War, before the shots fired at Fort Sumter.
Whatever it's pure business or humanitarian, it doesn't matter what your reason is. Abolition had to occur.
New York City was the second largest, New York State and the city, second largest slave population outside of, I think it was South Carolina, I'm going to say.
Which is surprising because you think of slavery, you think of downright the South.
Everybody thinks, we were so good. New York State also was, even though we freed our slaves early, Ulster County, there's a great documentary where slavery died hard, all about the perpetuation of the exploitation of people of color into the 19th century, even when slavery was more or less abolished.
Well, through like the sharecropping model, whatever, the indentured, not indentured, but beholden. Oh, you're too poor to afford a place to live. Well, I'll let you live here.
Yeah, and here we'll just let you work a little.
You can't buy food. Well, you take it down to the store and we'll sell you some beans. The sharecropping.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the coal mine town or whatever. You're a slave to the business or whatever.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. So now, Bill, how's the museum coming?
It's coming along swimmingly. In fact,
good.
I had a great week last week. I picked up the 19th century painting of John Wirtz from the Restorer that I was able to finally, after 2 years of sort of chasing it down.
That's not that huge painting you were talking about.
No, that's DeWitt Clinton, and that hangs in the courthouse here.
Yes,
we made a deal with the county, and I got to go visit and put up an environmental monitor. But I'm sure it's doing fine.
I am sure, absolutely.
No, this is a more modest sized. In fact, the painting is light. It's the period frame that weighs a ton, and it was also the period frame that was probably constituted 2/3 of the work on the painting needed a little cleaning. The frame needed all sorts of. But this will be going on display in the new museum. We went to the Roebling Museum in Roebling, New Jersey.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Well, they're loaning us a piece of wire rope. John Augustus Roebling was one of the wealthiest men in America because he produced wire rope. Elevators used Roebling's wire rope, but gravity railroads were the first people to use wire rope, and the D&H Canal's gravity railroad between Carbondale and Honesdale was America's first gravity railroad. There were a bunch of them. They're called gravity railroads because all the cars were connected, and they used the weight of the laden cars going down the mountains to pull up the light ones. They also used mule power, water power, and steam power. So it wasn't, and the D&H gravity went through, I think it was 5 different revisions, getting more and more efficient each time. It was single track at first, they double track it, and we're increasing the capacity of their railway.
Yeah.
So we got a piece of
that mechanical stuff back then would have been
John Jervis.
Iron and
right. It was
gear. It just would have been Rube Goldberg-ish compared to now, probably.
Unfortunately, there's not any of it left. But the wire rope was a huge benefit. John Jervis designs the gravity railroad in 1825, 26, and he builds it and he specs it out for iron chain. Well, we weren't making very good iron in 1825, 26. In fact, the steel strapping, so they didn't make I-beams yet. So the D&H Gravity Railroad was hemlock stringers, they called them, with 1/2-inch by 2-inch iron plate. And they actually sent Horatio, well, they didn't send him over. He had already quit to study railroads. While Horatio Allen, a young engineer, was going to England, the company took advantage. They were smart this way. Took advantage and had him order this iron strapping because we couldn't get enough of it or high enough quality. He also arranged for the purchase of 4 locomotives, but that's a whole other story, and a rat hole. If I'm not careful, I'll go. Getting back to the chain, each car held 4 tons of coal, and there were up to a dozen, even 15, 20 cars. The chain broke all the time, and sort of without any warning. Kind of dangerous.
Very dangerous. Yes, absolutely.
So
20 tons of coal screaming,
Again, immigrants were on those trains too, by the way. There's an odd thing that there's a thread that goes through the whole story. So they were forced to go over to hemp rope, and in 1830, their annual report, there's some $4,000 mainly for hemp rope for the gravity railroad, a huge expense at that point in time. And the D&H, starting in 1830, closed on Sundays when John Wirtz, one of the progenitors, one of the Wirtz brothers, and a Quaker, takes over. They start closing on Sunday. We've got a great letter in the Virginia Advertiser in 1845 where he basically equates their success as a coal company with their honoring the Sabbath. It's but they would because they closed down on Sundays, because hemp didn't last that long. I mean, at least it frayed, so you'd know, okay, time to change that rope. They would go out, crews would have to go out across the entire 17-mile run of the Gravity Railroad, and they took in the hemp rope and put it back out Monday morning. So when this guy, John Roebling, comes along with wire rope, they are just delighted. Because that's boom,
Yes.
Grease it up and leave it there.
So you have a piece of that?
We have a piece of very similar to what that will be on display. And then
what's the gauge of it?
It's about, I'm going to say, an inch and a quarter, inch and a half.
Modern,
Well, it was the closest to what they used at the time. And I never realized this until one of the excellent people at the Roebling Museum told me that it had a hemp down the center of it that was greased, and that was to keep it flexible. And so you'll be able, I'll have to talk to the design team. Well, hopefully you'll be able to see the end of it as well as the side. But the other thing that we got was a piece of wire cable. So suspension aqueducts and bridges didn't use wire rope. They used cables that were strung, and they were actually strung in place because if you laid them all down and then put them in, there'd be stresses. The lower wires would stretch and the upper would be under compression, wouldn't be as strong. In fact, John Roebling patents this way where it was like a carnival ride. And they would take a continuous...
Bridge, I'm not reading that book about the Brooklyn Bridge, 50,000 trips across...
Same, continuous. They would splice. The splices were stronger than the wire itself. I don't know how they knew that, but they did. I think the Delaware Aqueduct has 2,040 wires, and I was there recently with Professor Paul King, who's writing a book on John Roebling and who joined us on the trip last week. And you can see some of the wire is broken. I'm not too worried because it was so overbuilt, but we were looking at going, I'd be keeping an eye on that fella.
Modern cars are lighter than coal barges or whatever.
But they're just all bound together and then wrapped with wire, and so we have a chunk of that. Probably a little smaller than what was used in the aqueducts, but it's what they had to lend us. And they're lending us just a Roebling, a spool that their wire rope would have been on.
So they'll be on. So those are just temporarily on exhibit once the museum opens. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll renew every 5 years, which my exhibit designer suggested. Not, we expect it to be there the rest of my life. May it be long. I want another 64 years. At this point, I may change my mind, but she wisely said because of institutional changes, better to renew every 5 years. It'll keep it on people's radar. So.
Okay, that's great. That's good. So now, as far as the construction and everything of the museum, are we still looking at the same opening date? Or
we're still ready. We're hedging on the exact date, mind you. But spring of 2022, we are slated open. We're deep into. We've designed most of the exhibits. We're in fabrication. In fact, Thursday I'll be spending most of the day with the exhibits design team and the fabricators going over. Stuff.
Where is that fabricated?
They're in Connecticut. It's Design 42 Design Fab is the name of the
company that does museum exhibits.
Yes,
is it a furniture maker?
No, they do museum exhibits, both history museums and science museums. One half of our design
so there's
team
like
is
woodworkers and metal workers and electricians.
They can make anything. In fact,
thinking about modern museum display, interactive, lighted, sealed.
They were going to even fabricate like tables or even like replica stuff, which I didn't want. So I've donated a series of shipping boxes and the likes from the 19th century, and then we can fabricate them. No, I'm sorry. I want the real thing. In fact, I've got to in the next couple of months buy I think about 5 or 6 19th century tables for the tavern room.
I agree with you there. I think that makes a huge difference when it is the authentic furniture and so forth. Fabricators are great for exhibits, like the exhibits that we did over the Person House, the exhibit we did on the second floor of the county office building. Tremendous, absolutely amazing the work they do. But as far as the furniture and so forth, yes, they can fabricate it, but there's nothing like the real thing.
Nina, I'm with you there.
Yes.
I was president when we got the house. I donated 2 19th century tables and 20 chairs from the period that are there that we use because I felt like I don't want to have nothing against the furniture in this room.
No, right.
But even that's a 20th century repro. Both of those, actually. I wanted it, to be more immersive, to feel like you're in the 19th century. Yeah. And unfortunately, that stuff is so inexpensive now. Yes. That it's not precious. I mean, we'll actually be modifying tables to put tech in them, but it's just not going to be a huge sin, unfortunately, because there's so many. And this way, people will still get to enjoy them, but it'll be a much more accurate to me, especially since you're going to be in this 19th century
in the building. It's not like you're in a storefront. You're in a historical building.
There'll be plenty of new stuff in there on the walls, but at least the furniture and stuff will be more evocative of the era. Plus, I just love that stuff myself. But
yes, and you're really creating an atmosphere. And and it's exciting to see it. Are you doing pictures and so forth so you can see the transformation?
Doing as we go, taking pictures of all the work from the very start.
Yeah, which is very interesting. You
had said something a while ago about up in the attic there was some paint exposed, like original paint, and shipped off a sample of it or something.
Well, we had historic paint analysis done. Unfortunately, on the exterior, it's there's just not enough left. So it's inconclusive. So we're going back and forth. In fact, this reminds me that we have to pick a time for a talk with SHPO about the exterior painting. We're discussing what colors they think would be the most appropriate. So the house was built in 1797. In 1827, Simeon Depew, who built it with Arietta, his first wife, dies. Jacob, their son's mother. He wills it to his son, even though he lives another decade. His son builds an extension. So in 1827, they add on to the north end of the gable end of the building. So we've got a capture. You can see how they pointed, and you can see the original barn red paint on the gable and on the windowsills. Right. But unfortunately, on the 1827 edition, the interior is a green paint instead of the red. We were lobbying to do the red because it was the truest story we had, but actually correctly, Michael Lynch, the historian who worked as a waiter in John Novy's Depew Canal House restaurant, whose mother, Dottie Lynch, was a antiquarian and antique dealer who helped John interpret the house and did stenciling and the like. They're pushing for this dark green because we think that was what the color. But now we're into speculation. He's saying, well, they didn't do the trim and the windows the same, or the gable ends and the trim the same. But they did in 1797 because it's all the red. So that's the discussion we'll be having. And it would be speculative if we do the green, what would be the other color? We have no
there's no way you can take a paint chip off of it and look at the bottom.
Oh, we did. No, we spent $5,000 and we could use another $5,000. We ran, I forget how many samples. They took twice as many samples as we ran, and we're looking for funding because we can't. These are, we're looking for funding. We'd like to run more. The biggest thing was to get a sense of what the interior colors were. So we can now confidently paint the interior and say it was based on a historic paint analysis. Right. There were 30 paint samples after 1920. I don't care about after 1920. Well, I care, but
yes,
as far as the period of interpretation goes, that's not,
Is there only one addition that was put onto the building?
No, there was then a small, what we call the north addition, an entranceway that I think the canal company put in, presumably sometime before 1863, because we have a photograph allegedly from that time. As a historian, when you get a photograph that has a date on it, if there's no explanation of where that date came from, I'm going to be skeptical and just say, well, maybe,
Right, sure.
But it's interesting, too, because the stone wall...
The guy died in 1850, it's a fake photo.
Yeah, there you go, the stone wall that's built up on, when you see the exterior side of it, so what you see on 213, it's very rough. On the interior, it's beautiful. Well, that stone wall, my supposition, was actually holding up a dirt embankment because there was a bridge that had to get up and clear all the canal boats right there. And I think the canal company saw that stone thing sitting there. They had about 10 foot of width, and they built a building there. Then that we completely replaced. It was rebuilt in the 20th century. And typical of these things, the 20th century construction didn't last.
Yeah, right, there you go.
This was the second 20th century reconstruction because Mr. Novy had reconstructed it when he bought the house in 66 or 67. And then we had to take it down completely. It was a true green roof. Stuff was growing through it was holding the roof up, literally.
The roots, the root mat.
I'd be remiss if I didn't.
We got about a minute left.
I know, that's why I'd be remiss if I didn't say that I will be guest hosting at the county's excellent Person House.
Oh, yes, I would be remiss if I
on
didn't
July the
mention it.
24th. Yeah, no, that's why I've been holding my
Yes,
phone with it
yes.
on July 24th. Saturday, July 24th.
24th. What
I'll be-
hours?
I believe 10 to 4,
Yes,
right?
that's correct, 10 to
Period
4.
costume?
Yes, I will be. I will be dressed in a canaler, in my canaler drag, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
But I'll be. I'm doing something just about every Sunday as well. This weekend is High Falls Fair Day on Saturday, and this weekend is an artisan fair at the Century House Historical Society, where I am a head of collections and a board member, and so I'll be there on Sunday representing the museum. Dave Keim, I think, will represent us because I'll be representing the museum at High Falls Fair Day. Then the next week I'm on the boat, the Solaris. 2 weeks from Sunday, I'll be doing Sunday afternoon with our historian. We didn't have a great turnout last time. I didn't announce a topic. I think this time I'll have a topic. I think in August we'll talk coopering, and I'll have a friend of mine. We'll be barrel making.
Oh, that's cool.
Well,
We have a
that
barrel
is
ramp that I'll do a
Yeah, very
a
interesting.
historic barrel ramp that was used to load barrels onto canal boats. And now, as a curator, you don't want to use these things. I'm going to use it once and videotape it. I'm sure it'll hold up. It's a nice, solidly made
There you
object.
go. Put a
So
light
we got-
barrel. A light
Great
barrel.
idea. Yeah,
a lot of
video
exciting, a lot of exciting stuff going on this summer,
Yes,
even
you're
though we're not
very
open.
busy.
I'm very fortunate that both the Person House and the Maritime Museum are giving me a little platform and opportunity to serve our public.
Get the word out there, too.
Yeah, so we're
Excellent.
busy.
All right.
That's
all right.
fantastic.
Well, we're at the top of the bottom of the hour, and we got to go. So,
Bill, thank you
so
as
much.
always.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's always a pleasure.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, and I'll see you
Next month.
next month. Yeah, I
will.
promise.
Okay.
All right, Dan.
Thank you, Bill Merchant, and thank you, Nina Postupack and Cameron Rylance, for bringing us this last half hour. Bill Merchant of the D&H Canal Museum. See him at the Solaris at the Hudson River Maritime Museum. It's now at the bottom of the hour, and you're with us on Kingston Community Radio, KCR AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and always online at mykcr.org. It's 8:30 a.m. and it's Tuesday, July 6th. 73 degrees here in Uptown Kingston. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by the Kingston Lions Club. Call them at 901-9067, 845-901-9067, the local chapter that connects you to a global force for good. Mid-Hudson Valley weather and forecast. Today, mixed clouds, sun this morning, and a 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Possible severe storms also, with a high of 92 today. So there is a heat advisory today with a high of 92. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, a 25% chance of a stray shower or thunderstorm tonight, a low of 66. And Wednesday, partly cloudy early, scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Got a 50% chance of scattered thunderstorms on Wednesday, and a high of 88. And Wednesday night, 60% chance of scattered thunderstorms, a low of 55. Thursday, it goes up to a 90% chance of thunderstorms in the morning, and even more widespread in the afternoon with a high of 81. We'll be right back.
Thanks for starting your day with Kingston Community Radio on 920 WGHQ AM Kingston and 92.5 W223CR FM Kingston, New York. Magic 92.5.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Hi, this is Eleanor Arrow from the town of Ulster, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
Today's Tuesday, July 6th, and it's about 73 degrees right now here in Uptown Kingston, and you're with us here at KCR, Kingston Community Radio, AM 920 and 92.5 FM, and streaming online at mykcr.org. And your number to call in is 331-9255. This upcoming portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Rondout Savings, with a long history of serving local communities and maintaining a strong tradition of customer service excellence while providing each customer with the personal attention they deserve. Rondout Savings, always working for you in the community with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park, and also online at rondoutbank.com, equal housing lender, member FDIC. And let's return you back to the on-air studio for this last portion of Kingston Community Radio. Terrific Tuesday. Welcome back.
And we are back. And we have an awesome guest and an awesome topic.
So excited.
Peter Roberts, Friends of Historic Kingston. And he, did you curate this exhibit?
I did.
So you talk about it.
This is fantastic. Tell us how you thought. Well, let's talk about what the exhibit is first, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, this year, Friends of Historic Kingston has its exhibit, and it features what we call signs of the times. And these are commercial photographs of signs that were made by Majeska Sign Studios in Kingston. About 3 years ago, I had the opportunity to meet Carl Majeska, who was the second generation of Majeskas in the business. And he very generously has donated approximately 15 folders of signs to the Friends of Historic Kingston.
Oh, that's cool.
And these represent photos dating back to the 1920s when his father, Gus Majeska, was actually a sign painter for windows and for businesses. You know, the handwritten signs that you'd see in a window for things like lunch and food.
Building signs, right, at the time then?
And building signs were started in the 20s as well.
Because, you can still see a bunch of those on Broadway. That's just faded barely.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's three or four of them you can still see. I bet you they were his work.
But there's one really great Majeska sign that's in Uptown Kingston, and that's the Jennifer Shop.
Yes.
Which you can see from the four corners, Nina.
You can. Yes, you can.
And that was painted, believe it or not, in 1972.
Wow.
And it's still there.
It is.
It's that good lead paint.
And that's exactly what I was told.
Yeah. It's terrible to eat the chips, but the paint was really good.
Yeah.
Now, we need to mention this. A part of the exhibit, right, I'm going to say is a little souvenir package of for sale postcards.
Right. We have some note cards. There are actually 6 different scenes, and many of them you'll actually note because Schneider's Jewelers is there. And also there's one that's called Central Pharmacy, and that's Monkey Joe's Roasting Company currently. And then there's a marvelous one for a hand-painted cigar wall sign. It was J.B. Bach, B-A-C-K, and that was at the corner of Hasbrook Avenue and Foxhall Avenue.
Oh.
You might remember this being J&A Roofing at one time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is an example of the quality of the black and white photographs that were created. These cards go back to the 30s, 40s, and 50s, and each of these scenes is actually enlarged in our museum, where we have our annual show. Again,
Dad, there's a cool Babcock's Dairy on there.
there's a Babcock's dairy photo, which
I'm sure he painted the trucks. I mean,
which
truck
shows
lettering was
which
huge
shows
part of the
three
business.
trucks, and
Yeah.
it dates back to 1948. And they're really classic-looking vehicles.
They
so
are,
that'd be so-
absolutely.
like
Yes.
one of these now, you could make a little micro camper. People eat it up. Now, you had neon signs. Do you know when they became prevalent? When they started doing those? I mean, that's pretty.
I think neon signs in the U.S. first started in the mid-'20s.
That long ago, really?
Yeah. And one of the first ones were signs that were done in California. And I think it was for the Packard car group. But interestingly enough, neon signs were being produced in Ulster County and in Kingston in 1929, 1930. So
Because there's a modern company now does neon work. They moved up from the city a couple of years ago.
it's a great story. It's bright light neon.
Yeah.
And Matt Dilling is the principal there on Down Street.
Yes.
And he has contributed a neon sign to our exhibit.
Oh, cool.
Oh, great.
So in the exhibit, we have a lit sign, which they renovated.
Oh,
And it says Luigi's Restaurant. Luigi's Restaurant in blue and red neon.
Oh, wow.
And Luigi's Restaurant was located going up towards Sorgades on 9W at the junction of Glasgow Turnpike.
Oh, really?
And it was on the left-hand side of the road. And it started back in the 1920s and actually went into the 1980s. Luigi's Italian Restaurant.
I don't remember that.
A lot of people in town will recall that. I don't.
I remember Salvucci's, but I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I remember Luigi.
It's a different direction.
But there was another restaurant and hotel across the street, and that would have been called Shawntag's in its day. Now I'm not quite sure what's there, but it's been an appliance shop more recently,
Right.
and maybe some antiques perhaps.
Now, this Carl Majeska, was he involved in the sign business? Did he retire and there was no succession plan, or what?
Carl was the son of Gus Majeska, who founded this organization. And Gus was born in Malden. His parents were from Poland. And he was a self-educated man who became an extremely successful businessman.
Through the sign company.
Through the sign company. His one of his initial sign studios was in the basement of the community theater.
Oh,
Broadway, huh?
Yes, which is accessible via Cedar Street.
Okay.
That's
If you
right.
think about it, you
Yes,
have that
yes.
huge wall there. So we have some neat photographs of his early trucks. There's also a photograph on the back of this brochure of Gus Majeska and his brother Edward. And that photo is in front of one of their trucks, and it's dated 1930. Yeah. So Gus had twin sons, who Carl, who donated these volumes of works to us, and his brother Paul also went into the business, and they describe actually working when they were 7 or 8, 9 years old, painting the bottom lattice work on signs on the roads, also clearing out brush, etc. And they followed their father in the business. And the business existed until into the 80s.
I can remember being younger as a kid, seeing the word Majeska underneath, like a couple billboards in town.
Yeah, I think a great majority of billboards were theirs in town. There were a lot of political billboards
Right, yes.
in town. And in fact, we have a display of political billboards. There are about 12 different billboards.
Yeah, that's some local politicians.
Absolutely.
Yes, elected officials.
One of them is Al Spada.
Yes,
He's one of the 12.
Yes.
So you'll have to come by and check those out. You'll have some memories of some of these people.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Posted.
But also,
So
the Majeska company did thruway signs. So apparently they had 15 or 20 signs on the New York State Thruway, and these signs were mammoth. They were up to 140 feet long, I think about 40 feet tall. And they were supplied with electricity because they had lighting.
Lights on them,
so that was a big undertaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. What made you? What was the motivation behind coming up with an exhibit like this? I know from my personal experience, there's something that a light that goes off, and someone says, "Let's do something around this theme or this idea." So, how did you get to this point?
Well, it initially took place because Carl was in an assisted living facility. And I had created some photographs for the walls for this place. And the staff gave me a call and said, hey, there's a gentleman here with some great photographs of old Kingston. So I went, met with him, and subsequently met him, must have been about 10 times to review his albums. He just loved to talk about the business, loved to talk about the signs, and loved to look at his volumes of photos. And I think the impetus to have an exhibit, I think number one was the quality of the photographs, which you can see.
Yeah, amazing.
Yes.
These note cards. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but Gus Majeska, the founder, when he initially made these signs, he hired a professional photographer to take photos of his signs. So that's why the quality is so high.
Yeah. But it was an advertising, a smart business move. That becomes a great advertising tool for his business.
Definitely.
So it also shows a period of Kingston that we don't have a lot of photographs on, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. And actually there are photographs going into the 80s as well. I guess they're perhaps more familiar to me. They don't look as archival as these old ones do.
Right.
But I think in time, those photographs too will mean more.
Sure. Well, they'll be old
So it was
too.
a chance meeting that really started the whole process. And
it really was.
Yeah, and his excitement and, dedication to it.
Now, the succession of the company, what happened there? I mean,
It eventually was sold out to Timely Signs in Kingston, which you know about now.
So Carl had no family interested or anything, or
Carl left the business. His brother left the business, and eventually Timely Signs became, perhaps, I guess, the premier sign company in Kingston. I want to say something about Timely Signs as well. We happened to show them the photographs that we have, and Paul Bikert immediately looked at these things and said, hey, we'd like to sponsor your show.
Wow.
Oh.
So it's a huge undertaking that they've done, as you'll see when you visit, because they've created enlargements of all these photos. And by enlargements, some of them are as large as 4 by 3 feet.
Oh.
Because these photographs enlarge nicely. And they also created 5 or 6 collages, and in those collages you'll see truck painting, you'll see construction of signs. One sign that they constructed was for the Hurley Hotel, which was a large neon sign, which is currently the Hurley Mountain Inn.
Okay,
So
I was going to say
you'll see that. And then also they created a collage of Uptown Kingston, the head of Wall Street, where it meets North Front Street. And if you'll remember, there used to be signs galore in that area, particularly beer signs that were on top of the buildings, right next to Montgomery Ward. Montgomery Ward's was up there, and just to the left was a succession of beer signs, largely Schaefer signs.
Was there like a Barman Brewery sign up there or something?
I don't think Barman was there.
Local, somewhere I've seen a photo of like a local beer on a big billboard.
Yes, and you'll see that in the museum as well. It's a Barman ad, and it was I'm not sure where it was located, but it was a billboard, large billboard, and that was in the early 30s after Prohibition, when Barman tried to revive itself. Yeah.
Right.
The people who made these signs were incredible artists. I've done some some hand painted signs with the old lead paint and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Unbelievable artists that are doing this hand painting and all these different fonts and things like that. Incredible craft. That goes into hand-painted signs, and many people opt for it even now because it has a different panache. It has a different a vibe to it. It's an incredible study.
Some of the painted signs you'll remember very well were those for Catskill Game Farm.
Yes.
And where they had their animals there, and they had
giraffe
a
sticking
giraffe.
It wasn't a rectangle. Yeah, they had the shape sticking up. Yeah.
Carl Majeska describes cutting out the giraffe.
Really?
But getting to sign painting, all those Catskill Game Farm signs, and I think there were as many as 40 at a time. And you can believe that because they seem to be on every road.
Right,
9W, 32.
Yeah.
They were like the south of the border.
right.
20 more miles. Yeah, I remember lots of those signs.
And apparently the signs had to be repainted every year.
Sure, well,
because they were hand painted, they faded out. And again, those beer billboards that were above North Front Street, Wall Street area, they were hand painted as well, for Schaefer beer, for example. So it was quite an art to
some of the,
to do that.
You're talking about not even the billboards on the roof. Some of these other photos, buildings festooned with street signs, sticking out. A couple photos I show them. Like that wouldn't even be allowed now with like the hysterical commission.
Enjoyed watching Paul Biker look at some of these signs because.
And now Kinney Shoes, if anyone could access this photograph, the entryway
is amazing. It's like
looks like it's half the depth of the building.
Yes.
With like these square display windows. It's I've never seen anything like that in Kingston. That's for sure. That's like a New York City entrance type
and the
thing.
the date goes back on this one to 1936. Yes. So Kinney Shoes looked like that in 1936 with that neon sign.
That was been every little kid that walked by pushed their face up against these windows, I'm sure,
You see the vehicles too, right?
Yeah, that's like a model, a Ford
right?
Model A.
Here's a nice one as well. I love that car,
That's
Cameron.
like a Packard or something.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's in front of the.
Now, wasn't the Senate Garage? Wasn't that a Packard dealership? Do you know? It was a car dealership.
Yeah, I'm not sure of that, Cameron.
So that's from 1937 too.
If the Talamans are listening, they may know.
Yeah, and that was parked in front of Wonderly's and the Paris shop and Lombardi shop.
But there's another photo of a little restaurant, the McCabe's restaurant. It looks like the little German, like a Rathskeller with like the shingles.
Oh yes,
they cut out the oldie English lettering.
Right next door to the Grand Union.
Which is next door to Schneller's.
I think that's a great photo because it shows many different kinds of signs and. Just for Schneider's Jewelers itself.
Yeah, the Hamilton watches clock on the sign.
And that great wall painting.
Yeah, I mean this was an awesome little. This would be a great gift. People are listening. Friends of Historic Kingston. This pack of note cards would be a great little gift for Kingstonians that you may know. So it's worth going to see the exhibit just to buy that. So this is currently open, right? It's
currently open. We opened this past weekend.
July. All summer long, 11 to 4.
That's through October, Cameron.
Yep. So it's definitely worth checking out. And the museum itself, not only this exhibit, the rest of your collection.
The hours, what are the hours?
The hours are 11 to 4.
Which coincide perfectly with being uptown with your family or going to the farmer's market or...
I don't know, we
lunch.
were amazed this weekend at the crowd of people in uptown Kingston on Saturday.
Yes.
It was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Yes. Have you seen a lot of activity at the museum also? Yeah, at the house. Yes, we have too.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Like 170 people last weekend, 266 the weekend before.
Really?
Yeah. We are right there next to the farmer's market, but yeah, it's wonderful. It's
we had 80
fantastic.
people come to our museum this weekend, which is pretty good.
Yes, absolutely.
For us. And one thing that I really appreciated was we had a lot of local people come.
Really?
And it was fun because people would come in and try to identify the buildings that these photos represented.
Yeah.
And many people had wonderful stories to share about growing up in Kingston and about signs that were on their businesses as well.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So I think this show is in particular special because it's something that local people can relate to, and hopefully the quality of the show will bring in the out-of-towners as well.
Oh, yeah, people new to our area can see some of the history and go, oh, well, that's that bill. Oh, neat. Well, that's outdated. I love outdated. You just said, the one shop was,
where outdated is today.
Tying new and the old together, I guess.
How did you pick the photos that you were going to use?
That was hard.
Yes, I would think so. Yes.
But we also have a video that Taylor Bruck made
Oh, okay, great.
Of signs, and it must have about 100 signs on it. And he's done a Ken Burns type format.
Narration over it.
And he comes in and out, and he makes those milk trucks move.
Oh,
by
that's
going
interesting.
from one to the next.
Yeah.
And I
Does
think
that run continuously?
that runs
at the house?
continuously.
Okay.
cool.
In the museum as well. And you're able to sit down if you so choose, and it's very enjoyable.
Yeah. And how long is the video?
I think the video is about 10 minutes long.
Perfect. Yes.
And it's spaced well, and has appropriate music to emphasize certain photos.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a wonderful way to showcase a lot of photos in a short period of time, because obviously you have only X amount of space on the walls and so forth. Yeah.
It's not that big.
Yeah, yes. So, and with a collection like this, I can't even imagine how you determine what to put up. Well, it seems like, too, you did categories, like you said, elected officials,
We have construction of signs. We have billboards, and that's where the Barman billboard is. And, another billboard, for example, would be Rafalowski's.
Oh, yes, yes.
And then there's a real neat billboard called, it was a store in Kingston called Wigs for Men.
Wigs
for Men. Yeah, I think it was on Foxhall Avenue, and
Wigs for
that's in the show as well.
Oh, wow.
Funny.
That is.
And then the political sign group offers another grouping.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder if they did the Tony's pizza sign, 'cause I understand that was one of the early Tony's, the original neon sign at Tony's. I remember hearing that was like,
One of the
one of the
first
fewer,
of the neon ones.
newer, at the time.
Yeah, I don't
want to say first, but
I don't know the history
Kitty's
of it.
in the 30s, whatever. But I know.
Yeah.
I remember hearing it could be a wives' tale or something.
Tony's sign has been there a long, long time.
Yeah,
in the front, right?
Yeah, well, they used to go there in high school.
Sure.
My dad did,
Sure, me
you
too.
did too, yeah.
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 So.
Yeah.
So you've really covered the whole city of Kingston. So this is not just uptown Kingston. I mean, this is throughout the city.
It's uptown, it's midtown, and unfortunately, there are not many signs from downtown. I'm not sure why they weren't in his grouping, in his volumes, but I do know that Majeska did a lot of work in downtown as well. And it comes from an interesting story from Carl Majeska. He spoke about taking signs down when urban renewal came.
Oh, yeah.
And he said it was particularly hard on his dad, who had put all these signs up over many years. And he said they really had no place to store all these, so they were largely taken to junkyards.
That's too bad.
Which is too bad.
It's a shame. Yeah. That had to be a difficult task to take those down and see your work, your hard work, and what else could you do with it at that point? Yeah.
Majeska was also faced with taking signs down in the Catskill Park region because there came a period of time where road signs had to be removed because it's now a park and they no longer wanted to have signs.
Sure.
And apparently, again, the founder, Gus Majeska, was greatly upset by having to take these down.
Yeah, it was little resorts and bungalow colonies and, campgrounds that were up there way back then.
Yeah. Thank God he had the foresight to take all these photographs, because otherwise all these signs would be lost forever.
What a treasure.
Yeah. And for him to think to do that, is amazing, really. So thank God for that.
There's one good sign that's in the show, the Central Pharmacy. And a lot of you folks will recognize that because the curved glass windows are amazing, aren't they? Yeah. And, of course, that's Monkey Joe's Roasting Company now. And you can actually see Mr. Epstein in the picture.
Oh, really?
He's over here.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, sure. Oh, isn't that
He was the owner. He was the pharmacist.
Yeah. There he is in the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what year, how long was that there, Central? Oh, we have to say almost 2 minutes. But do you know how long Central Pharmacy was actually there? This was from 1946, maybe the 50s?
I think probably 46 was about when it started. Mr. Epstein had also had a pharmacy on Broadway prior to this one and moved to that site. Okay. So I don't know how long that lasted. I'm not sure.
This is on the corner of, this is by Keegan, right? On Broadway, by the new roundabout, Franklin? Because that existed well into the 80s, Franklin Pharmacy.
Franklin Pharmacy, I remember Franklin Pharmacy.
This would be where People's Place is, right?
Yes.
The back of, so this is before DeGasperis' Market, right? Because it's Tom Square.
Yes.
Governor Clinton Market.
Market was there, yeah. Yes. We're looking at the actual rack card.
Yeah.
That
We're getting the
shows
1
us
minute sign.
signs of the times.
So, Friends of Historic Kingston, wonderful sign display, wonderful new exhibit, Signs of the Times, curated by our own historian here, Pete Roberts. And Fridays and Saturdays, 11 to 4 at the Friends of Historic Kingston, all summer long. Please go check it out. Have this wonderful package of note cards for sale. Please go check it out. And thank you so much.
Good, thanks.
Thank you. Yes, thanks
for
so
having
much.
me.
Yes,
And
thanks for coming.
anytime. You are always welcome here. So look at Nina, another 2 hours of storm.
There you go, Cameron. All right, everybody have a terrific Tuesday.
Stay dry if it rains later. And Dan?
Thank you, Dan.
Take it away.
Thank you, Nina Postupack, Cameron Rylance, and Pete Roberts. Thank you so much for bringing that exhibit to us so that we can go see that exhibit. It's Tuesday, July 6th, and 75 degrees now here in Uptown Kingston. This last portion of Kingston Community Radio was brought to you by Rondout Savings Bank. Rondout Savings, always working for you and the community, with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park, and also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. Thank you for sharing the morning with us and being with us here at KCR AM 920 and 92.5 FM WGHQ and our live streaming on mykcr.org. Talk radio at its best. Inspired discussions about our communities with the community. And we invite you to be with us tomorrow morning, Wednesday, for a Super Wednesday. And until tomorrow at 7 a.m., every weekday, 7 to 9 a.m., until tomorrow at 7 a.m., we wish you every success in growing and developing Kingston and all our surrounding communities. We now return you to Magic 92.5.